From Ford Video Guy Studio in Salina, Kansas, it's McArthur Live with Tim Bartz and Sarah Davis. For all the information on ordering and production, Ford news, recalls, debunking all the fake news on social media, and whatever's on their mind, here's your hosts, Tim and Sarah. And welcome to episode 181 of our live stream / podcast. Yes, you can listen to this on your favorite streaming platform if you'd like to. Spotify, whatever it might be. I know Sarah uses Spotify. We'll talk about that just a little bit. But yeah, so you can find them on the different streaming platforms, and you can even find it on our website, FordVideoGuyMedia.com as well, where you can find our streaming platform or all kinds of stuff over there. But merch, yes. You can get our merch as well off of here if you want, or go to our merch site as well. That's linked in the title.
The quarter zip is my favorite.
Yes, I wear mine all the time. It's so comfortable. Anyway, in fact, I like to wear it to work most days, but I can't. All right. Hope you guys are having a great week. Speaking of that, Sarah, what have you been up to?
We are working on buying chickens.
Yes, you are. You're crazy.
3 dogs, 2 kids, and 6 chickens.
How are you going to keep them alive in the winter when it's cold? Have you been researching about how to farm chickens?
Yes. And our neighbor
for eggs?
Yes. And our neighbor has chickens as well. So you want to get Rhode Island Reds or Golden Lace because they are both hardy in the summer and in the winter. They also, Rhode Islands produce extra large eggs. Golden Lace produce large eggs. And then they're both good. When they're done laying eggs, you can have them butchered for meat.
Okay. So is there a certain expiration of when they can't lay eggs anymore?
2 to 3 years.
Like they get menopause or something?
About 2. So they say that the peak laying age is
laying age,
like a year.
Okay.
And then they start to go down from there. So 2 to 3 years.
All right. Well, there you go. Saving on egg prices. The egg prices will come down.
They will. Oh, I know. I keep seeing people going, oh, well, this is what we get with Trump. And I'm like, well, hold on.
Actually,
egg prices have nothing to do with Trump. Egg prices have to do with the bird flu.
The bird, yeah. So, yeah. Let's not get political here. So, right. Anyway, yeah. Not that I agree or disagree. I don't know. I won't get into any political stuff, but yeah.
That's the one thing I'm just
there is a yeah. Whether you like it or not, there's change coming, right? And could be in the automotive. We won't get into that either. The T word, right? Tariffs. Anyway, we'll talk about that. It seems like Ford's okay with whatever they're doing, so Ford's got a plan. But I don't know. Actually, it's kind of funny. Did you? I don't know if you saw. There was a graph going around of the percentage of vehicles from each of the manufacturers that are actually built outside of the United States but sold in the U.S. And Ford is actually at the very bottom, 21%.
Yeah.
And that's, Maverick, Bronco Sport, and Mach-E. And one of the things I think that's vehicles, built, but also you do have other things that are built outside the U.S. I know, like we have a transmission factory that's down in Mexico as well. But so that was enlightening because I was like, well, we're probably not as worse off as like GM, which is like 46% of theirs, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got a lot of snow this weekend. Actually, I do. I have some things to share. I've been for a long time. I've had this GMRS radio that I've had thanks to Mr. Ronald Smith. He's one of our members, and so I finally got it installed in the Bronco for the most part. Not exactly the way I was planning to install it, but I like what I've got coming on. So let me see if I can share this. So this is it. This is I knew before the live stream I was going to look this up, which one that I got. I don't even remember which one it is. I think it's the 575. Anyway, it's the mobile one with the mic. You'll see the mic in just a second. But I mounted it here. I did get a Mountains to Metal has a bracket to mount it up behind the glove box. And I heard a lot of people struggling and cutting up their hands and everything else. And I actually got cuts on my my fingers for anyway as it is. But no, I located it right here. I just have some of the different 3M. Actually, the Velcro ones we use for these signs is what I used. I
Yeah.
stole them from here in my office. But so I put that on there, and you can see I got in fact, this next one here, you can see my antenna wire coming through here. And actually, I am going to do a video on this, my personal channel, of what not to do. Just don't do what Tim did, because you can learn from my mistakes. You can actually go between the console and the firewall, and there's a little hole back behind the pedals that you can, with a little a cover there that's made out of plastic, and you can just cut it and have the wire go through there. And this cord is long enough. So, and then the red wire that's red and black, that's my power. And I want to put that in my auxiliary switch, but I didn't feel like it was long enough to reach. So I just did the easy button for now, and I put it in my console. So it actually can see tucks up against the console there, and then just comes straight up from the bottom up to there. So yes, so that's what I'm doing for now. So, and then there's the antenna, and that is all of the snow on the Bronco. That was taken tonight. So right before the live stream, I'm like, oh, I need to get those pictures. And then you can see there's what that looks like. I wanted the one where I can control everything on there without having to do it on that. But one of the cool things that's kind of nice about this is there's a USB-C port on the top. So I get an extra USB port. See there, it's up under the console or the glove box. I don't have that. So that's kind of what I did on Saturday. That was my fun thing. And then of course we've been dealing with the snow the last day or day and a half. Got a lot of snow here. So that's been fun. So, and also we need to highlight this. Vote for Tyra.
Yes.
So around here we have one of our employees here is got her dog Tyra and a favorite pet contest. In fact, I think I'm going to drop it down here. I think I still have it in my. Yep, there you go. So America's favorite pet contest. They're in the quarterfinals, right? Yep. And so there's the link. If you just want to click on the link, if you're watching this on your phone, you can do that. You can do it later, but you can also do the QR code. You can one free vote each day. So I implore you to go vote for Tyra. Tyra is a retired greyhound, which I love watching. Yeah. So 3 years retired, I think, or something. We actually have
someone here who she actually got her from our body shop manager's wife.
So
his wife races greyhounds, and she was retiring Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
And the employee here was like, that is perfect for me. That's cosmic energy. I need her. Because she'd been looking for like 3 months at the ones retiring. And Tyra came out. She's like, yep, I have to have her.
So there you go. You can go and click on that. It doesn't cost you anything. You can vote each day. One vote. I think there's like 7 or 8 days to vote or something like that.
10
days. 10 days left to vote. She's got to make it. I think if she's high enough, then she goes to the semifinals and finals. So go vote for Tyra. So
she said if she wins, she's buying the dealership lunch.
Yeah. So we got this dog is sponsored by McArthur Ford. so we're all voting. So go vote. Anyway, so there you go. There's that. And I put it in the links down there. So how do I get off of this? Right there. There we go. Anyway, so there you go. That's what's going on. And see, the snow is moving its way east, I believe, because it's actually was still snowing earlier. Is it? I don't think it's snowing anymore. I think it's finally stopped.
Okay, so it stopped for a while, but on my way back, I started getting flurries again. Like my windshield has had new stuff, and I didn't have anyone in front of me.
We had this morning -1. I was going to go out and shovel, and wife and I we're gonna tackle it together. I do have a snowblower. For some reason, it's not working. I got to figure that out. It worked great on the last snow. And then when it snowed last week about this time, it wasn't working right for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so I was just shoveling it last time. But it's not really like heavy, thick snow. So it's real easy to shovel.
Yeah.
But wind chill of -20. And so we decided not to. We have 4-wheel drive vehicles, and we were like, no, we're good.
Did you hear what they have in North Dakota? My sister-in-law said that she went to go drop off the kids. It was -20 before wind chill, with a high of -9 for the day, and they still had school.
Oh, Yeah, they cancel? They canceled for tomorrow too.
Yes, because
Um,
in their minds, if it is in the negatives at drop off time, they don't want to have the kids walking around in that.
Yeah.
Waiting for
Okay.
school to start.
Yep.
Some parents will drop kids off before school starts.
Yes, and the kids sit outside because they can't come in or something.
Or the kids walk to school. So, yes.
Yep. Mike, what's your 1020, big buddy? It is a gas, and that's not the issue, though, I don't think. Gas versus electric. So it's a gas snowblower. I'd love to have an electric one, just like I'd love to have an electric riding mower. I'm looking at an Eco. They're expensive. But over time, I think it would save me money.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants to donate to my lawnmower fund, can do that as well. Yeah, I have to have a new riding mower by this next year. So
just get goats.
We'll have to decide.
I
almost got one last year, and I just like, I'm just going to gas one. It's like half the cost, but I'm like, I really want the electric one. So anyway, so we're looking at that. But yeah, I have an electric weed eater. I do have an electric push mower.
We have an electric chainsaw, an electric.
I do have an
leaf blower.
I have an electric tree saw. So it's a smaller one, but
yeah, yes. It's the actual chainsaw.
You know what's funny is that a lot of people are willing to go electric for like mowers and stuff like that, but they're not willing to do it in their vehicles. Some of them. It's like, anyway. But yes, I wouldn't mind electric snowblower. But here's the thing, I'm probably not going to purchase another snowblower because as much as it snows, and I say that, but then this year it snowed like 3 times now.
Right.
Normally we get like 1 or 2 times it snows, and I'm like, so I pull it out for 1 time out of the year. So it's like, it's not worth the extra money of buying a new one. So that's why I think a lot of people don't have snowblowers. It's because, it's just, they don't get, especially in Kansas, we don't get a lot, right? So
I buy a device that I'm going to use maybe twice a year.
Now says he's got a gas mower. Now you got a big yard. I can do mine with electric mower. I can do my yard electric mower. Your yard,
He's talked about an electric mower. I know he has, and he was doing the math, and he said it would take a while.
Yeah. So mine I could do with an Eco, or I think it's is it an Eco, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. Anyway, I saw them at Lowe's. I think I missed out. Somebody said that they were on sale like in January or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to my Lowe's to see if they were on sale. I think I missed out. Anyway, all right. We need to move on. So we're going to talk about Ford Truck Month. I always think lately I've been like, okay, what do I want to talk about this week? And now I'm like, you know what? What's in the news right now? And that's what we need to talk about each week is what's the discussion, what's going on in the news. And so Ford Truck Month started this last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured let's talk about Ford Truck Month, and let's talk about how marketing, why do they have it now and everything. So we'll get into that later. Probably won't be a real long segment, but we'll talk about that. But let's move along. Actually, don't forget. Hopefully, most of you are. I see a lot of members in here, so most of you are already subscribed. But those, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, so you don't miss out on any videos. And if you want to become a member, Sarah, tell us how.
If you'd like to become a member, it is the join button right beside.
Go ahead.
Right beside the subscribe button. Once you click it, you'll see all the different little things that we offer for being a member. If you're an Apple user, you may have to do things differently. You want to go to your web browser, go up to the little a and big A in the link, request desktop browser, and at that point, you should be able to see it.
And then all of our membership content under the membership, I no longer have it on the homepage or on the dashboard.
No?
No, because somebody had commented, because I think there's a video they wanted to watch from one of our member videos. We have to, and the members do get exclusive content.
Mm-hmm.
They usually get to see videos a little early. I do get it. I do a lot walk for our members where I talk about different things. It's just kind of more or less, maybe something I'm passionate about. I like to say passionate about or rant about, I'll do that in those. And we'll do a lot walk and just kind of talk with the members, and just a couple segments there. And that's something you get as being a member, $5 a month and you become a member. Well, I had that on there, and some people I think wanted to watch one of the videos and then clicked on it and it said you had to become a member. And so they said they unsubscribed from the channel and I think it's because they want to watch that video and it required membership. And so they're like, well, I'm unsubscribing. I'm like, not all of our videos require that. So I took that off so that I didn't want any confusion there that you're losing out on any content by not being a member. We appreciate our members. It's really about a community.
Our members can tell you it's a lot of rambling on Fridays. Lot walks. It's just a lot of
but it's it's
just us talking.
It's more of a community of everybody kind of hanging out and saying hi, and really we're getting kind of into that on Tuesday nights too, because if you noticed, most of you in here, a lot of you in here are members, but so we do appreciate and the support of the members. YouTube gives us about 30% or 60% of that. So that money, and then of course another 30% I got to give to the government, but it's beside the point. But anyway, so it's really about the community more than anything. That's what we really like about it. So you do get, one exclusive video, a lot walk almost every week. I'd say probably 46 of those a year.
His lot walk is just him thinking up ideas, because if he's talking to a video, it's not talking to himself.
Yep. And sometimes those members really like seeing what's on our lot too, and what's on a dealer's lot. And occasionally I'll do that for the public too, just so they can see what things are going on. And then we do a member live. So you
have done a lot walk for non-members to exemplify what they can expect on those lot walks.
Yeah. Or just for them to kind of see in general. Like I probably about time to do one of those videos for the public, because with Truck Month coming up and everything else. So anyway,
this is one of the most valuable memberships besides the gym.
We'll get you in.
Thank you, Brandon.
We'll get you in Ford shape. This channel. Anyway, I saw him working hard, putting some mud flaps on.
Yeah.
On his Instagram.
So, she just has you running around doing all these things.
That's a true Valentine gift right there. Anyway, I thought that'd be pretty good. Valentine's. Speaking of Valentine's, we're going to talk about how Ford doesn't love you because they didn't give you a Valentine gift, but they raised prices instead last week. Almost every model. Anyway, we'll talk about that in just a little bit when we get to that part. But all right. Okay. But speaking of that, also members get shout outs on the live stream.
Yeah. I hope I got everyone.
You ready for that?
Yeah.
If we miss you,
you already did.
You holler if you like.
Yeah.
Hey, what
if
about
I missed
me?
you, go ahead and drop a hi. So we have Ridgeview to start off our member shout outs. He is our moderator. He keeps everything good for us in the chat while I'm distracted talking to Tim. And he says, so looking forward to tonight's live stream. I'm curious as to the status of the Ford Truck Month and how it's going. Our Quib, nice to see everyone tonight. We also have Niles Gridley, our other moderator and aftermarket specialist. So if you have any aftermarket questions, you can go ahead and tag at Niles Gridley and he can help you out. And before he leaves, he'll drop in his email for you. But he says, howdy, let's get rowdy. He also brings the fun. We have Brian Foster. Hello, everyone from Southern California. On my way to practice, so I won't be active in the chat. We have Clarence. Back surgery and a new right hip. I'm going to pass on getting rowdy. Can still get rowdy in your own way. Hello all. Hope everyone is having a good week. 18 days till daylight savings time.
Is that when it starts to warm up? I'm just waiting for spring break.
We get more daylight hours.
It's not always necessarily warm during spring break week for the kids.
What?
For the kids.
Spring forward an hour, so we get more daylight hours.
I think so.
We have Francis. Hello, everyone. And Rob. We have Ronald. Hello to everyone in the live chat tonight. Let's all get rowdy.
There's Ronald Smith. Talking about him earlier.
Mm-hmm. We have Francis. Hello, Ridgeview and the gang. Jack. Hello, friends. 46 days till Masters Week. 64 days till Bronco Supercell.
There you go.
Priorities. Good evening to all cold 20 degrees in Maryland. We have Midcoast Maine. Warm greetings from the chilly Maine Riviera. Mike Lyons. Greetings from Arctic Oklahoma. Bucko. Good evening, everyone. And Ford Enthusiast wants to know, do you guys have heat in the dealership? I see Sarah's wearing a knitted hat. We do have heat, but the showroom has a lot of room, so it's warmish. And I get cold. We all know this. I get cold easily, so I'm coming prepared tonight.
My toes are cold.
My toes have been frozen all day long.
Like I went out there, walked out there to the picture building once in the snow, came back, and my toes were cold. So anyway.
All right. Douglas, better late than never. Alrighty. Rowdy is a state of mind. Let's see. All right, I think we got everyone. Oh, Ragnarcon. Ragnarcon is here. He was talking about getting a new snowblower because he is up where he needs more snow, but always forgets to get one.
Yeah, now if we got more snow, it makes sense to get a new one, but I don't know. We have somebody in town that works on small engines like that, so I just need to get it to him, but figure it out. Or Google it. Watch a video. Like your shirt you got me. I got this. Watch the YouTube video. All right. Okay. And there was one in there that I highlighted.
Tim should have some notes or news from his earlier video on the Maverick backup camera recall.
All right. I got some information on that.
Or do you have any info?
Here. Yeah. Did any more information come out on the Maverick recall? So remember, there are 2 recalls going on right now for the Maverick. There's the battery recall and there's the backup camera recall. So we'll talk a little bit later about my goof up and what I thought, because I read the information. I actually said that I think it's for the backup camera, but I'm not sure it's a BCM software update. But so we'll talk a little bit more later that that's not the backup camera recall. So
yeah.
Anyway, talking a little bit more about that. I had a nice discussion today for about an hour with the
Ford Contact.
A Ford Contact, yes. And we chatted about a lot of things, Maverick content, I should say, in general. And we talked about a lot of things with the Maverick and how things are going and everything else, and asked for some input. So we talked about DIOs. We talked about DIO's nut coming in, so which Niles is in here. So I thought I'd bring that up, is that, we had a discussion about that, about how, like I said, did you watch? Actually, he said someone sent him my video on dealer stalled options. Yeah. I'm like, well, good. There's people at Ford need to see that and need to hear that, and they need to hear what's really going on at the dealership, and that, you have not enough dealers were ordering, or customers are ordering dealer installed options, and they're like, we need you guys to order more of those, which I don't get, because a dealer installed option is just a Ford accessory that is sent to the dealership and letting the dealership install it, maybe correctly or whatever.
Maybe correctly.
Maybe correctly. We got a couple crooked keypads today. Anyway, it happens, but some of that is like I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like the dealer installed options are basically what you can get through Ford accessories. Am I not right, Niles? I think he would know, but they're pretty much the same thing. The difference is, instead of you putting it on or paying the dealership to put it on, you pay nothing and the dealership has to put it on. And that's the hard part, is that because that's the kicker there is that Ford wants the dealership to add more DIOs, which, to be honest, the service departments don't really get paid. Ford's supposed to reimburse them back a certain number, but it's always too low of what it really takes them to put them on, unless you get really good. Like, we're going to do a lot of the same DIOs here on some of ours. So these guys will get really good at certain ones and be able to put them on really quick. And then it's maybe worth it. But, if you're putting on a few, then it's not. All right. So
there's a few differences, but for the most part, they're the same.
Yeah. And so basically, like I told him, is that, and when we've ranted about it on here, is that, you know, you're asking basically you're giving the dealer telling the dealership you need to add DIOs if you want to get, you know, what you need to out of your other accessories. But then we're like, okay, so boom, let's do that. And so the problem is then your supply and your capacity for DIOs isn't ready to handle that. So now they're getting backed up. So now we're getting vehicles in with no DIOs to put on them because they're not in yet. And so like we just had we ordered keypads on all of our Super Duties. For one, the Super Duties used to come with a keypad already on it from the factory. Now you no longer do that. So we added keypad to all of our Super Duties. Luckily, all the ones that they went through today all had the DIO was here on time. But in a lot of cases, it's not. Like we had a tailgate lock for a Maverick. Still, it was like 30 days and it wasn't here. Finally came in. We have the illuminated Ford logos we're putting on some of our lightning bolts for this year for 25 model year, and they're half of them aren't in yet. You know, we have one that's been here, a vehicle, a 2024 model year, and it's been here for over 30 days. The build got done, and it doesn't have the logo on it. It's not in yet. So that's the problem. And so I kind of voiced that. We talked about that and that opinion. And then we talked about some other things. You might see a change in the window stickers on the Mavericks coming shortly. So didn't know that I could have that kind of power, but we talked about it. And I'm like, this really is misleading. You really need to take that off. So I think they're going to make that change. So they're going to pass that on to some other people. So I'm like, yeah. So they didn't even realize some of the stuff. You have some different departments doing different things, and they had no clue. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but there we go. So it was a fun, nice conversation. Anyway, what's in Tim's cup? Yes, forgot about that. We need to do that next. I'm ranting. Don't need to rant. All right. Where's it at? Right here.
That's a good question.
By the way, that graphic right behind me, right beside me, that's Alan. That's in here in the chat most every week. So if you want to know who that is. All right. So what's in Tim's cup? You guys figure that out. Do we have a good dealer moment?
In a second. So you can get mach-e on Amazon. 12 cans for $26.
So your mom was, of course, it's been snowing here. The kids had a snow day today. She was at home and she got online, ordered some diapers for the dog on Amazon. They won't be here till Saturday though. I'm like, we kind of need them a little earlier than that. So we had to go get Walmart and get a little box and get one package of them. Anyway, that's convenient. Amazon's convenient, right? All right. So what else? Oh, while you're coming up with a good dealer moment, it was this last week that we had go live. We've been really busy on the channel. Hopefully you guys have seen that. Videos about every day coming out, whether it be a short, whether it be a long form video, all kinds of stuff coming out. So last Wednesday, we had a Built Wild Wednesday video. We covered the Bronco Sport deals and the great deals there are to be had on a Bronco Sport, especially 24 model year, especially the Badlands trim. Right, man, that you can. We have one that's over 10 grand off, and it's getting lowered today even more. I think, right? Oh, $300 more dollars. So of course that is including $1,000 of conquest for a Jeep. A 4-letter word. So yeah, I mean, pretty good deals, lots of rebates. I think, so we talked about that last week. Won't go into that. Watch that video if you want. Saturday, we had a Super Duty Saturday. We covered the High Boy build that we do here, custom build that we do only at McArthur. And I showed you guys the Fall Guy edition. If you guys watched that old show back in the day, was that Lee Majors? That was I couldn't remember it the other day. Lee Majors was the star of that show. I don't know if you guys watched that. I watched that as a kid. And then yesterday, Maverick Monday, including talked about the dealer installed options on Mavericks and such, and which of those are dealer installed options and which are factory options. So if you want to veer away from those DIOs, then you knew what they were. Also, F-150 Lightning videos. I like to call my complete guide videos in-house, but I don't say that in my videos. But where we cover the standard and optional equipment and we've covered the XLT, Flash, and Lariat so far. The platinum video will be on Thursday because we have the live stream tonight, and then Wednesday we'll have a Built Wild Wednesday video. So, which means coming up, Built Wild Wednesday video on Wednesday, Lightning Platinum video on Thursday, Super Duty Saturday video, Maverick Monday. So we got you covered about every day of the week, right? So yeah, we'll have that, those videos going, and I have in here what we're going to talk about, but we won't get into that right now. I want you guys to be surprised. Anyway.
All right.
You got it?
Yep.
Oh, by the way, what's in Tim's cup? What's in water's in your cup, right?
I have water in here.
What's in your what are they ever they call those?
LaCroix.
Okay.
I have LaCroix
I was thinking
in my cauldron.
Cauldron. That's what I was thinking of.
So do you want to hear the guesses?
Yes.
Mountain Dew. Coffee Monster.
Mountain Dew Blast.
Mountain Dew. Hot chocolate. Coke with a twist of lime.
Ooh, not a bad
Baja
idea.
Mountain Dew. Not Moxie.
Not Moxie.
Mountain Dew. Rich, you says you have one can of Moxie left. I have a can of Moxie left. We got that. Water.
Yeah, if I took it off her desk, she'd be like questioning, who took my Moxie? Water in the cup.
I actually moved it off my desk into my filing cabinet while I was away in Florida. I was like, I'm not chancing this. And then Rich, you said Mountain Dew Code Red.
There you go. Mountain Dew Code Red. That's what it is.
I mean, we almost drank a 12-pack between the two of us in like 4 days. 2 days.
Did we? We left some for him.
There were only 5 left.
Oh.
We drank 11.
We left them for our host. Invited us
Wait,
over.
12-pack. We drank.
We ate their food and left some pop.
Let's see, 12-pack minus 6. We drank 6 between the two of us.
7.
7.
We left 5.
We left 5.
And there's 12. 7. It's hard to do math on a live stream, I can tell you. I've had to try to do it before.
Okay, so we drank 7 between the two of us in 2 days.
Yep. All right. Good dealer moment.
Okay. Good. All right. We have Sugarloaf Ford in Winona, Minnesota. Joe Lubby is the sales associate. Great salesperson, very accommodating dealership on getting spray and bed liner done, soft tonneau cover, and aftermarket seat heaters installed. So, Sugarloaf Ford in Winona, Minnesota.
Little trivia for you. We talked about the Fall Guy truck.
Mm-hmm.
Ridgeview said he and Farrah Fawcett Majors, when they were married, and him owned a house off the coast of Maine in the mid-70s. Everybody went to Maine. He stopped in the supermarket I worked at the time. That is pretty awesome.
And Mike says he met him in 1970s.
There you go. That's pretty cool. And you can have a truck. Oh, look, no, it's not just like this. They were GMCs. I get it. But if he drove a Ford, that's what it would look like. All right. Anyway.
We're excited too.
Yep.
For the meetup.
Yeah, I'm excited for warm weather and meetups and off-roading and all kinds of fun with people. All right.
I'm excited to have chickens and get my yard fixed up. We're cleaning up and fixing up our yard this year.
Okay. We probably are. I'm probably supposed to, but when that happens, I don't know. All right. More trips I can send her on, the less of these to-dos I have to do. I'm sure she's not watching yet. Oh, wait, I did cancel their the home group tonight, so she might be on.
We are paying someone to put up our gate. That's the main thing, is we're putting up a gate across the driveway. We're paying someone to do that the right way.
Oh, anyway. Okay. All right, let's get into some of the other stuff. Oh, scheduling us. Before we do that, we do have one swap here, and I need to get in contact with some people so that we can do more swaps. I actually have patches on order,
So do I.
It might take a couple months. Hopefully they'll be here before Supercell, but I have a patch of my Bronco in the correct size, the bigger size instead of a little tiny one. And then I have one of the Kansas State ones.
Now, what size is that?
This is 4 inches.
That one's 4 inches.
Yep, that's 4 inches. And most of the Broncos up there are like
3.5.
3.5 to
Okay.
3.25 for the most part. Some are 4, but most
Okay.
of them aren't. But most of the it seems like most of the state ones, they're like 4, like they're bigger. Seems
Yeah.
like. So if you are at Supercell, or if you're in Texas with the Bronco Club down there, and well, actually, I won't have them by then. I probably won't have them by Texas, but Supercell, I'll have hopefully one of each. So if you haven't had one or the other, because early on I did these till I ran out, and then I did the Broncos by themselves, and I didn't do these. So if you need one or the other, just let me know. That one I'm keeping because that's from the original. Anyway, okay. So this one here came from the great state of Texas, Spring, Texas, and this is Starsky 2.0 _ Bronco. So he's got a couple things. Here's the patch. Ooh, that looks like it's an eruption green Bronco, but with a white top. So I don't know if they have a heritage. I don't think it's a heritage edition. You can't get it in green, but maybe they painted the top white. Looks like. So that's their sticker. Looks pretty cool. And there's a little bear. It's right beside the Bronco. So there you go. Pretty cool. All righty. We'll get that on the social and all that. All right. And then we talked about, and don't forget to vote for Tyra. Well, throughout the live stream, we'll just keep popping it up there. Just for fun. All right. Scheduling. If you watched the video earlier, we have that go live as its own video at 6:30. I did go over scheduling notes and everything, and so we'll go over while you guys are dropping in. If you have any comments about scheduling and such, drop those in the comments right now, and we'll get into those any questions you have. I'll do a really quick overview. I won't go over all the limited exhausted availability stuff. I'll just kind of go over some of the stuff, but this week is the second week of scheduling for the allocations that the dealers have earned for the month of February for those April build dates. So last week was primarily was retail only scheduling. So basically, like for us, if we didn't have a retail order, then we might not have scheduled, right? So we had that happen. So Mustang is scheduling this week for the dates of March 24th through the week of the 28th of April. And again, all these are main commitments. So it'll be a retail first, and then if not, then stocks will be scheduled. This is where, they basically want to use up the rest of our allocations this week. So usually the first 2 weeks, they've done about 90% of what their capacity is planned out in the first 2 weeks. So this is as a big week as well to fulfill the rest of our allocations. So if they don't have a retail order, they're going to use stock orders. And I've already looked at our Maverick orders. We have 6 allocations. We have 1 retail order, and they're previewing some stock orders that they pumped in there. So so that's how that's going to work for a lot of these. So Mustang, it does look like they're trying to get some. They've scheduled out most of their GTs already, and then on the Escape, they're scheduling as well for the 5 weeks, basically all of April build dates. The week of the 31st, which the first is the second day of that week. So pretty much all of April, and no constraints or anything on Escape. Bronco Sport is scheduling as well for those same weeks, the weeks of 3/31 through the weeks of 4/28. Big one on this was the tire. So the tire that's standard on the Big Ben is a major constraint because it's also the same tire they use on the Maverick XL and XLT. So anytime you can go with something else other than that tire, it will help your orders out. So really kind of talking to dealers and saying, if you don't have a retail order, you need a stock one scheduled, try going something other than just a stock Bronco Sport Big Bend. That's why we have a bunch of Black Diamond off-road packages, because it has an all-terrain tire. It's a different tire than that one. And then otherwise, there's nothing else on there except for the standard wheel on the Big Bend. So anyway, Bronco. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about Bronco. Only 537 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. 37 of those are Strop. So only 37. It was like 80 some last week. We had both of our Strop Broncos kind of wearing the vest as a celebration. Both of our Strop Bronco orders got scheduled last week. So that's pretty cool. Production of that is 2% is the production rate of the Strop Bronco. So it's pretty cool to see both of those get scheduled finally. They're scheduled for the same weeks. Manual transmission is a big. So when you look at some of the reports that are out there, like in Bronco 6G, you've got to understand how those read, and that what the capacity is, and then what the orders are in there doesn't mean there's an issue, because the percentage that's there is the percentage of their total capacity for the month. The orders that are in there is based on how many, that percentage is based on how many of the 537 orders. So in there, manual transmission is really the only one that's a major constraint, because there's 250-ish manual orders. And if you look at what the capacity is for the manual is 3%. So that's the hard kicker, is for those that people want a manual, that is the only constraint I can see in the Bronco lineup, because 3% of, let's say they build 5,000 Broncos, and I'm just throwing that number out there, that means they can build about 150 as manual transmission. There's 250, almost 300 that are unscheduled. That means only about half of them will get scheduled. In ours, we have one manual transmission, and it did get overlooked. It did not get scheduled, and we used all of our allocations. So it won't get scheduled this month. So it'll be one of those half that don't get scheduled this month. So I would say manual transmission is a big constraint there. Otherwise, I don't see anything that's really a major constraint on anything else. So you should be concerned about just that. Maybe black appearance package, but I think most of them should be able to be taken care of this week. But the big kicker again with all these is allocation is king, right? If a dealer doesn't have an allocation, it really doesn't matter what you have on your order. It can be the best availability. You can, like a Bronco Sport, it could be the Big Bend with the Black Diamond package, which they said in here, that has the best chance of getting scheduled. But if you don't have an allocation, it doesn't matter. It's not going to get scheduled, right? So that's the conversation you have to have with your dealer. Like if somebody came in and talked to us on Bronco, and we had this conversation with somebody that wanted to order last week, they wanted to order, and I says, boy, if they get it in by Wednesday, I can almost guarantee I can get it scheduled, because the only other retail order in there is a manual transmission, and it probably won't get scheduled. And he didn't put his order in. So all of our allocations were used last week. Well, now if they put that order in, I can say, well, your best option is about the second week of March at this point, before it can get scheduled for a date, and that'll be for May production date. So having that kind of conversation like I'm just having right now, if you were my customer and that were happen, if you put in an order for a Bronco with me right now, the only allocations I have on Bronco are for Raptors. That's it. So unless you're putting in a Raptor order with us, I can tell you I can't get you scheduled until the month of March for a May production date. So having that candid conversation, hopefully your dealership is educated enough that they can have that conversation. If your salesperson doesn't know that, that's where you ask for that sales manager to get involved. Let me talk to your sales manager, because they should know how that works. Anyway, all right, enough of talking about that. But 25 mach-e, it's scheduling. Actually, it's not scheduled for the last week of April, but the first 4 weeks there it is. And then nothing major there. Explorer. Also scheduling too. There are some constraints in here, but I think it's because they scheduled most of their orders last week. But they did say very limited exhausted on active ST line, platinum. The keypad, that's probably a big constraint for Explorer, is that keypad. And then they also mentioned the 20-inch bright painted wheel, which is the standard wheel, I think, on the platinum. But I tell you, the wheel that I like is that ultimate package wheel, that 21-inch wheel. That thing looks great in person. We have one in our showroom, and I think it is beautiful. It's got a space white one, platinum in our showroom with that new wheel from the Ultimate Luxe package. That thing is, I'm sorry, I think that is the best looking wheel I've seen in a while. All right, Expedition. is scheduling this week as well, and there is no listing about that platinum standard wheel being a constraint. Now, I know at the beginning of the month they said they weren't going to schedule any of those wheels, but there's no note on here. So guess we'll find out because I have a platinum order in. And so we'll see. Maverick, we're under 2,500 unscheduled retail orders. And you might think, well, 2,500 they scheduled last week. And that wasn't the number about 2,500. Well, they keep recycling. You got to remember, people are putting in orders as they're getting scheduled. So that means a lot of people put in Maverick orders within the last week. So because they did schedule almost all their month. They probably scheduled over 22,000 orders last week, but more got ordered. And then they're scheduling for this week the advanced all-wheel drive. And I did talk to the brand manager about this. That doesn't mean that they're a constraint. It means they've hit their capacity. They've actually had a lot of people ordering the Tremor and the Lobo. And because of that they're at their capacity. So it's not like that's a constraint. That just means they've hit their capacity of what they plan to produce for the month of April. That's all that means. So that's why Tremor's on here, and that's why that's on there. And the black appearance package decal. So, and when you see one thing out of a package, then that's a constraint because the manufacturer's not making them fast enough or enough of them. That's a different scenario, but there you go. Ranger is scheduling as well. No notes on Ranger. It's scheduling for the month of April. Super Duty is scheduling as well. We're down to 5,000 unscheduled retail orders. Haven't seen a Ford number yet in a long time. So we're 5024. That's pretty close. They're scheduling as well, but they're scheduling for March dates. So the week of March 10th to the weeks of April 7th. So they're scheduling different dates there than everybody else. And the only constraint in here is, of course, the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. And they're just saying they need orders, for XL, XLT Lariat with the 6.7 for super cab or the 6.8, as well as they need regular cab orders without those, which means there's a constraint on that. And then other than that, F600. So they don't have any of the others. So that's good news for a lot of people. F150 as well. 2,800 unscheduled retail orders. They do have a lot of constraints listed in here. And they did remind people that there's no scheduling for Raptor R this week. Also, Raptor Base 801A is a retail only order type, not available for a dealer to order a stock. And then also the 5.0 liter STX is a retail only. So they're trying to focus XL STXs and XLTs. They want more of the 2.7 liter orders. They're really trying to focus on that engine for this year. So they need some orders on that, as well as the hybrids on XLT and Lariat and Platinum 701A. And then here's some constraints: the 5.0 liter engine, the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine, tonneau cover retractable. So, you know how I feel about those. The all-terrain tires, some of them, depending on configuration, I won't go into that. The extended running boards, the wheel that's on the XLT black appearance package as well, and then Tremor and the heads-up display. So anyway. And then they actually have notes in here about the Lightning. So Lightning is scheduling this week for those build dates, the weeks of August or March 31st through April 14th. Best availability is XLT trim. They said that they're very limited exhausted on Flash and Lariat, and it's not because they're of that. Last week they scheduled Lightning, and mostly they scheduled was Flash and Lariats. We had our Flash one Flash got scheduled, so they're trying to get dealers to do variety of things because they know a lot of people haven't put in retail orders on these. Most of the orders in there are stock, and so they're trying to get dealers to put in those, give them a variety. But here's the kicker: is that Ford will pump in or whatever orders they want for the dealers. So anyway, we had a Flash. We put 2 Flash orders in. They scheduled one of the 2. So we'll see. I got a feeling they're going to pump in an XLT order for us from the region that we can't delete, and that's probably what will get scheduled. 25 model year Transit down to 920 unscheduled retail orders. And they're scheduling for the weeks of March 17th through April 14th. 5th row bench seat is very limited exhausted. Otherwise, that's about it. So, all right. Okay. Hopefully I gave you enough time to come up with some questions. You have any?
No?
Okay. No,
Here.
I think most people put those
Truck
questions in.
month. What's in Tim's cup? Nope, none of those. Any news on Ford Escape of 2026?
I've heard talk there won't be an Escape in 2026. Whether that happens or not, well, guess we'll find out. They might make something else in that plant.
Right. Don't know yet.
It is I could see it happening. All right.
Owner of a 22 Maverick looking to upgrade to a 25 Lariat. What's the best way to determine if it is a Job 2 build?
Everything built from here on out is going to be Job 2. Well, Job 3 will start this summer, but yes, they started production of Job 2 starting at the beginning of this month. So everything at this point, they're producing Job 2s only, no Job 1s.
Yeah.
So if you ordered now, or if you have a vehicle that's in production currently, then it's a Job 2.
But how would they know if it's something on a lot?
Oh, on the lot, it'll actually have Job 2 on there.
Okay.
If you look on the window sticker, there'll be a little listing and it'll say Job 2 build.
Anything about 60th anniversary editions for Bronco or Bronco Sport?
They're planning on it. I got a notification that they're going to do some stuff this summer when it comes to 60th anniversary. So just be waiting for some details. I think we're on that list because they sent that email to me. And so I think they're planning on something. I think Bronco's birthday is coming. I can't remember when it is. I feel like it's in August, like right before Woodward. So they'll probably, my thinking is they want to do it. They're going to probably announce it on Bronco's birthday, or Bronco, whatever that first day it was first built back in '66. So I think they're going to do it on Bronco Day, and then probably and then it'll be available to see at Woodward. That's what I think is they're going to invite media in. August 11th. There you go. So I need to remember that. 8/11 instead of 9/11, right? That's a better date. All right. So 8/11. Probably what they'll do is have media come in. I would assume they're going to do an embargo for media to see it and everything. And then they'll reveal it on the 11th. And then it'll be at Woodward, which is a week before Woodward. I could see that happening, but I don't have any confirmation of any of this. It's all speculation at this point for me. I do know that they are going to have a big deal for 60th anniversary this year. And I believe it'll be not a necessary, I don't know if it's going to be a full redesign or if it's going to be a refresh, but it'll be something pretty major.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen that luxury trim yet. You know, they remember when that was that Ford Blue CEO or something, or I don't know, whoever the president, I don't know, somebody was in charge of that. They actually talked about there was certain trim levels that was going to be available, and one of them was a base, which we're seeing this year. They also mentioned the luxury Bronco coming, and we haven't seen that. So we'll see if that's what we see this year.
Yeah.
Anyway. All
right. So Niles has a question. What do you order at Chick-fil-A? This is a very pressing question.
My go-to used to be the nuggets. And for a long time when I was doing paleo and such, I was doing the grilled chicken nuggets. I thought those were real good. But yeah, but now I usually just get the chicken sandwich. Jeff gets the club.
I get the spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah, spicy chicken sandwich is good. That's just.
It sounds really
very
good.
important question. Talk about scheduling. We talk about ordering, right?
Yes.
Ordering Chick-fil-A. Anyway.
8/11/1966.
All right. Yep. All right. Any other scheduling questions?
Sally. Oh my gosh. So I mentioned Steve Hawley because they were mentioning things about their different states. So since we're talking about Maine and attractions, first off, what are must-see things in Kansas? Monument, Rocks,
Cosmosphere
and Hutch.
The salt mines and Hutch.
Yeah. I mentioned that I used to drive Steve Hawley's Toyota.
Yep.
His Camry. And they mentioned that Stephen Hawley was married to Sally Ride. She was the first woman in space. And then they said that Sally Ride was one of the questions tonight on Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
Full circle. All right, continue on.
All right. I mentioned earlier that, Ford, you can tell the Ford, how much, Ford is not saying that you're their Valentine, that's for sure. Because on the 14th, they come out with some price increases on some vehicles. Some of these, came out to where they weren't effective on the 14th. In fact, this in here is Bronco Sport, and Mustang mid-year price increase that went into effect on February the 14th. So Bronco increased the price of the Eruption Green, Velocity Blue, Desert Sand, Marsh Gray, and Shelter Green by $100. So I think that makes them $395 now.
Mm-hmm.
Bronco Sport increased the Outer Banks by $100 and the Outer Banks Tech Package by $100. Also increased Eruption Green, Velocity Blue, Desert Sand by $100 as well. Mustang Night Pony Package went up $200. The mini spare wheel and tire standalone option went up by $150, and then they increased the Grabber Blue, Vapor Blue, Blue Ember, Race Red, Intense Lime Yellow by $100 as well. So, and then also actually came out before then. There was price increases for the Explorer and the Expedition that was effective on the 13th, the day before that. The Explorer Active ST line and ST series went up by $130. The Active Expedition went up by $300. So, and don't forget, on any of these, if you already had an order in, you're locked into those prices. Well, you should be. It's up to your dealer, to be honest. They could do some things there if they wanted to. But all right, this next one is on Super Duty. These went into effect on the 14th, on Valentine's Day. On the 2025 model year pickup Super Duty, that'd be with a bet on it, right? Increase the FX4 by $55, increase the trimmer by $125, increase the fifth wheel prep package by $100, the upfitter switches by $65, the rapid heat supplemental cab heater by $100, the XL Chrome package by $100, and the privacy glass by $70, and destination delivery $100. And then on the chassis cabs, the rapid heat supplemental heater, the $100, the rear view camera and prep kit, $100, because these are trucks without a bed on them. They increased the XL Chrome package by $100, the center high mounted stoplight by $100, and the destination delivery by $100. And then on the F53 and F59s, increase the destination delivery by $100, and the E series, the destination delivery by $100. All right, that's all the price increases. Plus, we saw the week before that, Maverick went up, right? So, anyway, yay. And again, it's all these say at the bottom of each one of them about automatic price protection. So you can see it on all these. It says it'll say in here price protection says 25 model year, invoiced prior to November will not be re-invoiced. And then actually these don't mention price protection on them on the Super Duties. Interesting. A lot of those are commercial. But these right up here, maybe it's in a different spot. Price protection. It says automatic price protection will be provided on a firm 25 model year fleet, retail, and demonstrator orders signed and dated on or before basically the day before that it changed, and received by Ford Motor Company on or before the 18th. So as long as they hand in all the signatures and everything else, then it's price protected. Ford will reimburse the dealership back the difference. So it's whether or not the dealership wants to actually be nice and give it back to you. All right. Something else that came out is they added some 4 trade packages for the Transit cargo vans. Trade packages are things that they come in the vehicle, like in, most of your cargo vans are pretty empty in the back, but you have the 2 seats in the front, and then it's bare in the back. You've seen those.
Yeah.
You've pictured them before. There's basically nothing back there. Well, here's some different packages you can get. There's a general contractor package, and I don't know what's included in these yet. I can get more information later, but there's general contractor is option code 66M. That's $2,900 MSRP. There's an HVAC, not available on low roof, 66L. That's $4,850 for that one. There's an electrician package, 66K. That's $4,370. And there's a delivery foldable shelving available on high roof only. 66H is $3,300. So, and it does say in here, additionally, many customers interested in trade packages also seek protection options. We continue with the following offers. So they already have some heavy duty flooring, some wall ceiling and motion lighting, and virtual rear view mirror camera as well on these. So anyway, so those are some packages they're adding to cargo vans. It just makes it easy if you add the trade package. Then when it comes in, like electricians, contractors, it's already kind of set up for you. It's ready to go, right? So, see. Oh, floor plan reimbursement continues on the Maverick for XL and XLT for those that were in stock in January. So they're saying dealers will get reimbursed for the floor plan for having those vehicles in stock, which is good because we got 82 out there that they charged us on. All right. And this is an update, and I'm not sure what they updated for the Ford security package. We've talked about this before, and I'm not sure what's been updated. Maybe the price is $799 a month for a monthly plan for the Ford security package. And that's going to, that package helps with stolen vehicle services 24/7 for that, where basically it tells them where that vehicle is located and they can call police and they can go get it. Theft alerts as well. So when somebody does take it, you get a notification in your Ford Pass app that someone's stolen your vehicle. Start inhibit as well. Customers can deactivate the vehicle's ability to start and drive from the Ford Pass app. If the vehicle is driving when start inhibit is activated, the inhibition will take place at the next key off. So that's like basically saying if they were to start it, then it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever been in a vehicle and your key fob leaves. Like I'll drop, like your mom sometimes will have the key to the Expedition.
Yeah.
I'll let her out the door at church and she goes in and it'll honk. And I'm like, I'm okay until I stop. I just can't restart. It's kind of that same principle.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's a nice security package available on F-150, 24 model year F-150 gas and hybrid, 25 model year F-150 gas and hybrid, and 25 model year Super Duty trucks, excluding F-650 and F-750, and excludes also F-150 Lightning trucks right now. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. I think if I had that, it might be something that I'd be interested in. $799 a month is not a bad service for what you're getting there. So. And then also they mentioned in here that you can use Ford Pass rewards points towards the Ford connectivity package. And I can vouch for this because I've been able to use it on mine on that premium connectivity package that I'm required to get every month so that I can have navigation on my screen. Don't get me started. Anyway, even though I use Android Auto most of the time. So Connect and Navigation is one of those. Like you can use it on that as well, which I did use my Ford Pass points on that. And also Blue Cruise, you can use Ford Pass points for as well. So if you're getting Ford Pass points, especially if you use the credit card, you gain so many points, you can use that towards those services every month. So you can actually, when you sign up, you can say, I want it pulled out of this as long as I have it. So a lot of times I'll get a receipt saying you use your Ford Pass points, for your premium connectivity. So that can be used. There's also a lot of other things. You can use Ford Pass points on the Bronco Off-Rodeo as well, right? So use your Ford Pass points for that. Bronco Nation now accepts Ford Pass points too, which we're going to I want to talk about that. Let me talk about that. Yeah. Anyway, something going on there. All right. Now, heading into recalls, which is the next segment of the show, if we don't have any questions, there are two memos that came out this week. One of them was on the 22 to 24 model year Mustang, the power steering control modular software update. So it says you may receive customer or media inquiries related to a recently approved Ford Motor Company recall related to 22 to 24 Mustang vehicles for the PSCM. power steering control module software update. Ford is planning to provide dealers and owners an official notification the week of the 17th. That's this week. So also on the Maverick, we got something similar. I mentioned in yesterday's video that you may receive customer or media inquiries related to the recently approved Ford Motor Company recall related to 22 to 24 Maverick vehicles for a BCM, that is the body control modular software update. Ford is planning to provide dealers and owners an official notification the week of the 17th. So I found out, I thought, because that was a software update, I assumed it was for the backup camera. But I guess the backup camera wouldn't be a BCM update. And that has to do with the battery recall from what I've been told today. So looks like I was incorrect on that. So I'll correct myself next Monday as well as today. But looks like to me that this has to do with the battery recall. So the battery recall is about ready for those people that are needing that done on their 22 to 24 Maverick. Actually, this says 22 to, wait a minute. I might disagree with them, because the battery recall was for the 23 model year Maverick, not 24.
Right.
I'm going to wait to say I'm wrong. Just a little longer. We'll see what this is supposed to come out this week. So we'll find out. We'll see we'll see what we find out this week. But my assumption was it was a body control module and that software update, and that should be I thought it was for the camera recall, since it was a software update. So I guess we'll find out. He thinks that this does not have to do with the backup camera recall. He thinks that's still yet not to be fixed. Sounds like they're working very hard. Everybody at Ford, he says, I can tell you there's a lot of people working really hard on getting that done. So he knows. So
yeah.
Anyway. All right. Any questions on dealer news or anything so far?
Gears Ed Tech was wondering when we're going to do the Florida meetup. We just went 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So.
Yep. We tried to talk about it each week, so
yeah.
Sorry you missed it. I actually did say we were going to post it in social media, but
I never. No. I kept saying that we would post it in.
Jack posted it in the Maverick and the Bronco forums.
Yes.
So anyway. All right. All right. Get into recalls. All right. So there's a couple of recalls in here. This in here is a customer satisfaction program 23P22. And this is a supplement, which means it is an update to the one that came out February 7th, which was just real recently, for 24 model year Rangers with the Ford license accessory bed cap that was added. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but they updated in this part of this. They updated the date that it was running from before. I don't know what the date was before, but now it's anything that was built between January 4th through September 19th. And so the number of vehicles are affected or changed. And it says, actually, there's no number in here of how many are affected by this, but owner refunds are no longer approved for this program. So, and then it does say in here that for the technicians, the labor, the instructions and the parts ordering information has been updated. So, looks like we're ready for this recall, but, and this in here is for the customers who purchased a Ford license accessory bed cap. I think this was like a DIO or something through their Ford dealership. Ford recommended the installation of a load box reinforcement bracket kit to improve the structural performance of the bed when used in extreme off-road conditions. This program covered the installation of only the load box reinforcement bracket kit. So this has information about that. So, and it says owner letters will not be mailed for this program. So, all right. This next one is an update to recall. Safety recall 25S03 originally came out on January 17th. 258 vehicles are affected by this one, and the parts information has been updated for this recall as of the 12th. And so on this and here, in some of the affected vehicles, the transmission cross-member bolt may not have sufficient mounting torque of 80 nanometers or 59.0 foot-pounds or they may be missing. So it says here, owner letters were mailed the week of February 10th to customers needing that one done. So, all right. Next one is also an update to the recall. This is a safety recall 24S67 for 23 to 24 model year transit vans equipped with the 9.75 rear axle. And I do remember this. So back in, I think, December 6th, this recall came out. And so this in here, they added the affected vehicles. So they went forward a little bit. Vehicles built between May 9th of 23 through February 10th of 24. So now it affects 1,076 vehicles. And then they also, those added people were sent out their letters to them. And then they also updated the technical instructions and parts instructions. So if you don't remember, incorrect part number and description details were provided for safety recall 24S05, dealer bulletin supplement number 2, which could have led to the wrong bolts being ordered and installed on vehicles. This can result in a rear wheel lockup or possible separation of the wheel from the axle shaft, resulting in loss of vehicle control or loss of vehicle motive power. Some cases, the vehicle may roll and park if the parking brake is not applied. These conditions increase the risk of a crash, of course. And so the new letters are going out the week of February 24th for anybody else not affected or not already gotten their letters. So, all right, this is a new one. Looks like actually. This is the official recall to the advance notice that came out January 22nd for safety recall 25S04. So this is the official one. Only affects 3 vehicles. So why not just call them? I mean, 3 vehicles. And this happens. This is 24 to 25 model year F series. And so affected vehicles contain a steering gear with an incorrect rack and pinion combination. So it says the letters are going out the week of February 17th to those 3 customers. All right. This next one is safety recall 25S05, supplement number 1. So this is an update. February 3rd, we talked about this recall as an advance notice. This is also an advance notice, but this one they actually updated because they added, this has to do with 2020 to 2022 Corsair, 21 to 22 F Series, Super Duties, I should say, and 21 Expeditions. So on this in here, they added Super Duty 21 to 22 model year at Ohio. Ohio wasn't listed before, built between February 1st of 21 through May 19th of 21. So now it affects 91,334 vehicles. So some of the affected vehicles, customers may experience an intermittent rear view video image, no rear view video image, or poor image quality, blurry, foggy, hazy, when the vehicle is in reverse gear. Mine looks a little hazy right now with snow on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, a rear view camera that intermittently displays or displays a poor image quality while in reverse can reduce or distort the driver's view. Not sure why they don't use their mirrors of what is behind them, increasing the risk of a crash. Letters says in here, owners of record will be notified via first class mail within 60 days. Which may occur before repair instructions and parts ordering information have been provided to dealers. So this one's not official yet. It's an advance notice because I don't think they have the fix yet. So, or they don't have the parts yet, one or the other. All right, this is an advance notice for safety recall 25S09 for 2020 to 2021 model year Aviator and Explorers. Man, I feel like I've heard this before. 240,000 vehicles are affected by this, and this is a big one. It looks like, and so on this one here, and some of the affected vehicles, some of the seat restraint fasteners may not be properly secured. Seat restraints with improperly secured fasteners may not properly restrain an occupant during a crash, increasing the risk of injury. Owners of record will be notified via first class mail within 60 days, which may occur before parts ordering information including rear repair instructions, have been provided to dealers. And that's so that people know that this is a problem on their vehicle, right? So anyway, so I think that's an important safety one. And that's probably going to end up being a big one that's going to be out there on some of the other forums probably. I think that one actually came out today. 17th, yesterday. Came out yesterday. Should write an article on that one. Get it out there. So anyway. All right. So that's that on recalls.
All right.
Anything else? Questions? Nothing?
I have standard, just regular questions.
Let's do it.
All right. This truck month, well, this one's truck month related.
Oh, we're about ready to talk about
Okay.
that.
I saw an F-150 build video where you can forego the AS switch for $50. Do you see this as an option now for service appointments?
Talking about auto start stop?
Yeah.
I mean, you can use force scan to deactivate it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So I don't know if in the past Ford dealers weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay. Do you think Tim will, or if Ford will put a V8 in the 2026 Ford Bronco?
I don't think so. I don't think they need to. If you've driven one with the 2.7 liter, I mean, even or a Raptor with a 3.0, that thing that's a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta think about this. So, King of Hammers, right, which is sand racing as well as rock crawling and everything else. Ford won 1, 2, and 3 in the stock class of that with the stock motors. Stock means you can't. I think you can have different tires, but you can't change the suspension, frame. You can't change a lot of that stuff. Some of the bodies like fender flares you might be able to change, but you can't change the overall what that vehicle is. You can't change the engine, the transmission. You can't change some of that stuff.
I think you can change cosmetics. You cannot change
anything
structural.
Yes, and it got first, second, third to beat all the Jeeps and everything else. So including any Jeeps with the 392, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know there were people for a long time. I remember that people used to say there's no replacement for displacement, and they used to always say that in my videos when I talked about the EcoBoost motor. They always were like, V8 is the way to go. No replacement. Your grandpa was one of them. I made him a believer.
Mm-hmm.
Right back when the 3.5 EcoBoost came out, he was big V8, and he tows a camper, and I'm like, just try something for me. Just let's take this for a test drive, right? And now he will not buy, and it's been several trucks now. He is dead set on that EcoBoost engine. Yeah. That 3.5 will always be better to him than any V8.
And he's a mechanic.
Transmission guy for years, retired. The highest level you can get in training and certification they gave him the transmissions and people that couldn't fix things. Now, if you think that I know about scheduling and Ford stuff, that's what he was too as a mechanic. He worked for Olathe Ford, and he was one of the. I mean, when I was early in sales, I'm like, tell me what this all means, because I would ask him questions because he knew it.
So that's how you got your knowledge.
Some of that stuff. He knew what he was doing, and he was. And of course, when the motor came out, he was retired by then.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that knowledge of that EcoBoost, right, because
he
wasn't working on him back. Yeah, he wasn't working on him at that point because he'd been retired. But I got him in that. He looked the engine over. He popped the hood and he knew what he's looking at, right? And now he will not buy anything else for his camper. He feels like that pulls his camper. He's got an 8,500-pound camper he pulls with his EcoBoost, and he will not use anything else.
Yeah.
Not to say everybody feels that way or anything. Now, a V8 in a Bronco is going to be bigger than the 2.7. So, like, in correspondence, there's not a 3.5 EcoBoost in the Bronco, right? To say that it's better than the 5.0 V8, but because it's a 2.7, but that 3.0 liter EcoBoost is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good motor.
Ryder McCone says, in theory, you can fit the 4.6 liter V8 into the Bronco, but it wouldn't perform, or it wouldn't perform worse than the V6, so it doesn't make a ton of sense.
That 2.7 is a pretty good engine, and if you, I think one of the great buys is when we talk.
He says it would perform worse than the V6.
Oh.
So it doesn't make a ton of sense.
So remember that's a twin turbo, right? So twin turbo powered V6 2.7 liter. That's, I mean, it's a pretty good motor. I mean, I got a 2.3 with the cold air intake from Roush and the exhaust, and man, that thing. I think that
Douglas is right. Well. There are a few folks out there that will do a conversion for you for the right price.
Right. Well, they make a Bronco DR. Yes. So it's not like it can't fit in it. I mean, they'll put V8s.
That's
in
what Ragnarcon was saying. Is that
yeah?
In theory, it fits.
Yeah. I mean, there's Bronco DRs out there. The racing and all that. They have that. Okay. I don't know what size V8 that is. I don't think it's a 5.0 liter.
Yeah. But I mean, we know someone that
I don't know
converted he was trying to convert his Maverick to a race truck, and he got pretty far, but then he went to go put in a certain engine. I think he figured out he couldn't do it.
What I want to know, I've been hearing rumors that the 2.7 is going away from the Bronco. So the question is, maybe they're thinking, are they going to make more 3.0, or is there a hybrid coming to replace that 2.7 liter?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I would think that it'd be the reverse. The 2.7 sticks around and the 2.3 gets replaced with a hybrid motor. But I don't know if I'd want a hybrid. I mean, All Train Nation was talking last night about the about electric. They were talking about the
I didn't get much into that. I only got through the interview that they did. I didn't get into the rest of it.
Yeah, the Jeep. They were talking about the Jeep. What is that new Jeep that's out? That doors can come off, but it's all electric. Anyway, they were talking about that, and then they were talking about the Scout. And I don't know. I mean, I would love to see underneath. I'd love to look underneath the Scout. I want to see, is there compromise and off-road ability? Can you put a lift on a Scout? Can you change the suspension? I mean, does it have the travel? Does it have a front and rear locker? Does it have a sway bar disconnect? Is it going to compete with a Bronco in a way of off-road capabilities and still be electric?
DIY availability.
Right. That's what I want to see. And of course, I didn't go to that. I wasn't invited, of course. I'm a Ford video guy, but I would love to see underneath that and see what it looks like, and see what that is. Because I've seen underneath a Jeep with a plug-in hybrid, and there is compromise there.
Yes,
there definitely is compromise. You lose ground clearance.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We can talk Jeep versus Bronco, Wrangler versus Bronco, but I still think, all day long a Bronco drives better. And a lot of people say, well, the Wrangler is going to be better off road. It'd have to be, well,
you haven't taken a Jeep.
I'll go back to King of Hammers. Who won King of Hammers? Who got first, second, third? Right?
Yes.
Let's put it where it matters on the podium, because that's, those in the stock class. I mean, we can talk about modified ones and people can do whatever they want with the right money, but let's just talk stock class.
Yeah.
And is it maybe it's because the driver, because it was Brad Lovell.
Oh.
So and his son, and he's good.
Yes.
Anyway, I've met Brad. He's
we've seen like the Bronco Sport with Melissa. She's taken that to championship.
Yeah, because a good driver in a Bronco Sport like Melissa, she can go places in the dunes that most Wranglers wouldn't be scared to do. So
yeah,
I would be scared to do without her instruction. Anyway, all right. Well, let's keep moving on.
My dealer saying Ford System states there's no price protection on the Maverick because there was no pricing action during the model year. Any thoughts on that? It's $300 difference.
There has been price increases, but okay. So if you have a job 2 and you see it's $300 more, that is because it's a job 2. So I would probably I'd be correct in saying that is not price protected.
Could we be seeing a couple of job 2s coming out?
Should be arriving anytime now.
Okay, so
we got a Lobo on the way.
That's right. So you could have a job 2, and that would explain the price difference.
But no, there were some job 1s also that came in that they did a $300 price increase on job 1 before job 2 came out.
That's right.
And so those should be price protected. Here.
It arrived with the Pro Trailer stuff.
It's got the Pro Trailer stuff on it.
That's what he said.
Then they're probably right. That's an early one. Those went up $300 because you got all those.
And Ford did state that it would be going up $300. Yes. Well, they told us, and we reported it.
Yes, they did. So you're being $300 more of what it was when you ordered. If you ordered a job 1 and it got flipped to job 2, it will be $300 more.
My brain misread that without. So there was a $300 price increase. Continue.
Okay, so it's not a job 2.
My brain.
I was going to say job 2s could be starting to arrive at dealers, because I know that we had a Lobo that went out this week. So there's a possibility Arizona dealers have gotten some job 2s.
Yeah.
So that's why I was going that route. But if it's a job 1, then it should be, there was a $300 price increase, and you should be price protected to before that. And I can tell you when price increases happen, and I can show you the bulletin if you want to show them that, because I have, where are those at? Price increases. This one was January 27th. There was a price increase. Oh, that's the one that just happened. Or that was for job 2s. F-150. I don't know. I got them in here. I got them all. There's a Ranger and Maverick. That was in February. Where was that one? Well, here's I keep a log of all of them. So on the Maverick, back in September 18th, there was a price increase to price level 525. On October 15th, there was a price increase to 535, and then another one on 11/25 went to price level 540. So those will be all affecting job 1s. So if you ordered in before any of those dates, then you'll be price protected to what they were before those updates, which I could probably get those and figure out what those were. But I'm clicking on them. I got all these in here, so I got to look at them. Here's Maverick. So in October, the price increase for Maverick was $100 on every model. So that went up. And so even on these, just like with these, it says you're price protected. If you ordered before that date, you're price protected to the price level it was before that. So, I mean, tell them to look at the Doras, because that's what they are, and that's what they should be price protected to. So, yeah. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to get reimbursed. Here's the other one. Full-size spare was $55. That's what it was. Oh, that was for 24 model year. Maverick. Anyway, so yes, you should be price protected. So, but I will say job 2s did go up $300 for all the trailer features, and that you would pay that $300. So, all right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
If I muddied that water.
I did.
All right. So tonight, like you mentioned in there, it's Truck Month. Truck Month has started, and I have a couple notes of, hey, I wanted to highlight, why are we talking about this and everything? But Truck Month is a big, it's always the very first campaign that Ford runs the beginning of each year. And it's always good to take a look at that and see what Ford's doing and everything, and what's going on. I do have the memo right here. And so what Ford's launching is Truck Month sales event. The campaign runs February 13th through March 31st and focuses on driving demand on our key vehicles through connected TV, digital demand generation, auto endemic sites, social, and paid search. So you'll see these ads running on your social media, on your connected TVs, stuff like that. And basically what you're going to see is a message that says get 3.9% APR for 60 months and $1,000 bonus cash, or lease for only $399 per month or 36 months on a new F-150 STX. Of course, that's probably with some exclusions and everything else. So they have a couple different video campaigns. One of them that's running that highlights the 24 F-150, 24 Super Duty, 24 Lightning, and 24 Ranger. Why 24? Oh, because 25s aren't here yet. And 25 Maverick. And then the second video highlights 24 F-150, Lightning, and Super Duty. And then the third one is focusing on 24 F-150, Super Duty, Lightning, Ranger, and 25 Maverick. So they're not highlighting 24 Maverick because you know why? Because of that recall, right? So they're hoping to include that, but they do have some different spots. And I thought actually I could run some of these spots real quick. First, before we get into that though, I want to play those commercials. So I want to, I figured, well, maybe people are asking, why do they run truck month? Why do they focus that in February, March instead of like at the end of the year when they want to close out the year? And I think the biggest reasons they do this is 25s are coming in. So if you notice, most of those deals on the trucks, the good deals are on 24 model year. So there's no like extra rebates, or there's no rebates at all on 25 F-150 and Super Duties, but they're focusing in on the 24s. They want to clear out inventory for dealers to make room for the 25s and such. So they want to move the inventory along. So by about this time is when every year we do see the 25s starting to show up on lots. We just started receiving them probably within the last couple weeks. We've been seeing 24, 25 starting to roll in. So the 24s really do have to go. So they'll put out the extra rebates, special low rates to move that inventory off dealer lots. And it's always a great time if you're looking at an F-150, a Super Duty. Now they're going to start focusing on Rangers and some of those. Some really good deals, especially if you're looking low rates and everything. There aren't, by the way, people are going to ask on Maverick, there aren't any really incentives on 25. I'm going to show you what they're running to promote. Is that basically reason they were able to finally start doing some commercials on Maverick is because they actually have inventory at dealer lots now, just like we have. So, so another question I have, and I actually don't know the answer to this. Why do they run it for 6 weeks? They call it truck month, but it's 6 weeks long. So you think truck month is March, but actually they said the actual dates that it goes on, truck month actually runs from the initial main event, is what they call it, is February 13th through March 19th. And then they'll run some commercial ads that are called the main event final days, and those will run from March 19th to the 31st, kind of like extended days. So they're saying truck month actually starts in the middle of February and goes to the middle of March, and then March 19th they'll run some final days. You have to, right? And so they'll run that. So it's kind of like sometimes we'll do in the year-end clearance, and then at the beginning of January we've extended. So it's just the marketing.
We used
right?
to do trucks in the field.
Yeah, trucks in the field. All right, so I pulled up some of these commercials on this. See if they play. I think I figured it out. I think these will play. Wait a minute. What's that? No, this is the one I want. Share this tab. There we go. All right, let's try this.
It's Truck Month with the Ford crew.
It's time for the best deals across the full lineup. F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. F-150, Super Duty, Maverick, and the North American 2025 Truck of the Year, Ford Ranger. Fully prepared.
Did you sleep here last night?
If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready.
So true.
And this crew is Truck Month ready.
Sorry. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I muted myself. Anyway, so that is the first one that's running. We don't have the other ones yet. That's the main event one that they're running, and they're starting. I don't know if you've seen that. I think Christmas time they started running that crew, these whatever they call them. But anyways, they have those going on. Now I do have some Bronco Sport commercials to highlight because this came out, and I actually talked to the brand manager on the Maverick that they're running commercials finally. So here's a couple commercials. In fact, I've seen this one before. I think it's been running before, and they're just rerunning it on the Bronco Sport, but now they've added the 25 model year Bronco Sport to it. So I need to share this one, and let's add that back. It's not running. Why is it not running? Here, let me try this. There we go. Now, don't know if you saw that. They were pretty sly of sliding that brought the 25 in there in the middle, right? Show that. Where's that at? Nope, I guess that is the 24. Anyway, but there's that. Anyway, so there you go. So that's one of the Bronco Sport commercial. They have a shorter one. Let's run this one. Oh, I messed it up. Let me restart it.
The wild is closer than you think. But to get there, you might want all-terrain tires, off-road suspension, steel-plated bumpers, and something that says Bronco on it.
So I like, that's the one I was thinking of earlier, is that has the Sasquatch with the Sasquatch package on it. So that one's pretty cool. And then let's get into the Maverick ones. I don't have to reload all these. Whoa, hold on. Share this tab. Now let's go bigger. There we go.
Whatever you want to make it. With the standard hybrid new 2025 Ford Maverick.
So the biggest focus on this commercial that they were running was kind of like, you don't have to compromise and go, well, do I need to go with SUV or do I want a truck? That you can go with the Maverick and you get a little bit of both, right? You can have that truck when you need it. So that was kind of the goal they were going on that. And then let's share this one, see if it'll play. Oh, no, let me reset.
The compact truck that's good in tight spots. The new 2025 off-road capable Ford Maverick Tremor with 360-degree camera.
There you go. So that's those commercials.
Based on
And
the previous commercial, I need a Maverick for this summer.
you're gonna need one for that chicken coop. Anyway, so those are kind of running and everything. But I thought I'd highlight maybe some of the truck month stuff's going on. Now, what's funny about those, before we get in the truck, back to the truck month, they were running those Bronco Sport and Maverick under 30,000, and now they're going to these instead because they realize right now they need to focus more on these, and you can't get some of these like those vehicles that they highlight in those commercials. You can't get those for under 30.
Yeah.
Right, that Sasquatch package, whether it be Bronco on Outer Banks or a Badlands, it's like mid 30s above. It's like 40. Tremor is over 40.
Yeah.
Right, so you can't get those, but they're still great vehicles, and so they've actually said they've been selling the Tremor pretty well. So I told them, I'm like, you know what, I had a Tremor Maverick. I love that thing. It was like that was a nice vehicle. So anyway. But let's talk about some of the ones, because I actually have this up here. Our prices will be updated today based on truck month stuff going on. But we're going to see, what you're going to see with us is not only trucks, but SUVs, is there are some big rebates. So on 24 model year. And all these will focus in on 24 model year, not 25 model year. That's what they'll focus in on. And what you're going to see is like the Lariat F-150 is going to have $4,750 in rebates. And then also you get like 3.9 or 4.9. Now you do lose like 1,700 in rebates or something to get that. So where they mentioned in there that bonus cash of $1,000 at 3.9. So you lose some of that. Like I think our advertisement we're going with is like $15,000 off and 3.9% on F-150s. And something like that on a lot of ours. We have some that are going to be 20 grand off, or you backtrack, you lose like I think you lose 30, like I think 3,000 or something rebates if you take the low interest rate. So you lose some. You can look at it both ways. I know some of the like XLT and STXs are going to be like $5,000 off. So some big rebates coming, and it's like brings us, like we were saying in our meeting, pre-COVID prices. That's where we're at now, and which is good to see. We're back to where it was prior to COVID. So F-150s, XLT, STXs, you're going to see some big rebates on that. Low interest rates as well. Even the F-150 Lightning, if you have some in stock, like we have 3 flashes, pretty good deals on those because those have 0% interest
They
rate.
answered that one.
So
includes the F-150 Lightning.
Truck month also, yes. So they do still have the Conquest money still there. So if you're a Ram owner, then I think actually they stepped it up. I think there's $3,000 for Ram and trade-in. If you have a trade-in, you're another $1,000, and then $3,000 for Ram. Or $2,000 for Ram and $1,000 for trade-in. So you get that as well. So you're getting $5,000 rebate and $3,000 if you own a Ram that you're trading in. Same way on the Lightning. If you have a Tesla you're trading in, it's $2,000 you get for that, I believe, for that. So and you get 0%. So that's a pretty good deal. So there's some pretty good rebates. And don't forget about your tax credit of $7,500 as long as it's under $80,000. That's one of the few vehicles that still gets a tax credit. Is the F-150 Lightning, and then I think there's $4,000 rebates if you don't take the lease opportunity. But wow, there's some big rates, and even on Super Duty. So here's one thing: I've been in the business for a long time, and normally you never see rebates on Super Duties. Even during Truck Month, they usually focus in on F-150. There is $3,000 rebate on Super Duty, XLT, and XL. $3,000 on 24 model year.
Wow.
Crazy. Lariat doesn't have any or Platinum. But if you're looking at a cheaper truck, an XL, XLT, $3,000 rebate. We're gonna have Super Duties that are like $8,000 off with the rebate, and there's no Conquest on that. And if you finance with us, you're like talking over $8,000 off on some of ours. And then we even have some of our Mack trucks.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving those $12,000 off.
Wow.
On our Mack trucks. And $10,000 off on our special edition
How
dualies.
much is that package?
So the package itself is pretty expensive because that lift is really expensive to do. Now, those special edition vehicles, you're getting basically that package for free. So if you're looking for like a dually, we have XLT dualies with the 5th wheel prep package, by the way, with the 6.7 diesel, the standard diesel, and we'll have them with leather. Because we put leather in them. They're XLTs with leather for $10,000 off. So you're $72,000 for those. Pretty good deal on those. Anyway, so there you go. So yeah, pretty good deals. So look at your local dealer because they should be running these special pricing and everything. They may not be on it quite as quickly as we are, but Truck Month is rolling. They didn't really focus a lot on Ranger. Looking at Ranger. We have a couple in stock. There's $1,000 rebate on Ranger, but that didn't change anything from what it was before. So, so there's not huge, and there's not really any lower interest rate on Ranger. I think they're advertising a 5.9 for 60 months, but it's not much of a deal there. But and then Maverick, they are running a rebate on Maverick. If you have a dealer that has a 24 model year Lariat, there's $1,000 rebate. But of course, you can't sell the XL and XLTs, so they haven't thrown any rebates on those. And then on the 25, there aren't any rebates yet. So, but we do have some. We just lowered the price on a couple of our Mavericks, 25 model years. where are we at? Actually, we lowered all of them almost. So we have we're basically $250 off. So I won't mention there's $1,000 if you finance with us on all of our 25 model year Mavericks, and then another 250. So we're basically invoice pricing because with the 250 off on XLs, we're losing $200. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, but then our Lariats, so we're $1,500 off, including the financing rebate on any of our XL. I guess we only have one Lariat. Lariats are actually selling pretty good for the Maverick right now, but anyway, but that's all we really had. I wanted to make people aware of that truck month is starting, and why they kind of do it at the beginning of, why do they do it February and March instead of like that? Well, here's the other thing, because they're working on when you think of marketing, what's the best opportunity? What's going on? Super Bowl just hit. They didn't run it during Super Bowl, but then they started right after that. So instead of spending $8 million on a commercial for the Super Bowl, instead they can run Truck Month, and guess what? They're going to hit March Madness. Right, they're going to hit all the playoffs or all the conference championships in basketball. So they're going to hit basketball really heavy. They're going to hit the start
also
of
feel like
some of
their
the spring sports.
Christmas time promotion, like their Christmas time advertising, was really heavy. Like the Target commercials.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy Fallon.
yeah.
So those were really heavy.
Now, something new that they're doing this year they haven't done before for Truck Month is they're also really hitting it big with commercial truck. So they're having commercial Truck Month as well that's running the same dates. So they've never really done that before, and this year is the first year they're going to include commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties into a commercial campaign and commercial Truck Month too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool how they're doing that. And actually, I might have a commercial for that. No, well, I thought maybe I clicked on the link. Oh no, it just talked about no commercial on that one. So, so anyway, that's always big. Truck Month is always a big month. We always laugh around here. You mean the truck 6 weeks, month and a half? I think I actually might have put that Ford Truck month and a half, but that is going on, and we're
tax season.
Yeah, tax season too. Yes. See, so but I think one of the big reasons why they're kind of running it too is that they need to move the 24s along, make room for the 25s that are coming now. So continue that the inventory roll out and everything. So like what we like to do is we don't like vehicles being here very long anyway. We like to keep moving them and freshen it. So we always get frustrated because every time they run something big for the previous model year, we don't have any inventory. Like when they were making a big deal, oh, look at the Escape. It has like $4,750 off on 24 Escape. And like, great, we haven't had a 24 Escape for like 5 months now. It's like we sell down our stuff. So we continue to do that. So we don't let our stuff be, stagnant and stale and sitting on our lot. We want to move it along. And so for Ford, for advertising, this is what they call tier 1 advertising, is your national advertising. You're going to see some of these campaigns going on. So if you see that's going on, you can think of me because we talked about it here, right? But no. Anyway, so that's good stuff. If you're looking, for some good deals, we're going to do a lot differently than most dealers. I don't think anybody's going to be, like I said, we have Roush. Well, we won't talk about that. We have trucks. Look at trouble. We have some of our. We priced them for 25s off-road editions. XLTs, here we go, $15,000 off. And then of course it'll be less than that if you take the 3.9. So you won't be that much off if you take that. And that our money, and it does, I like to tell people, we have a disclaimer on our website that does include $3,000 for RAM and for financing. So that's still $12,000 off if you look at it that way. So outside of that, so which is still a pretty good deal when you figure only 5,000 of that's rebates, right? So you're 12,000, 5,000 is rebates. That's still, we're discounting the truck itself, $7,000. And on some of those XLTs, it's the package price of $2,000, but again, that's still, we're 5,000 off. And I can tell you there's not $5,000 on these. I see the credits here. I can tell you what we're marking them down to make us cut even. So So
Yeah.
anyway, but
right.
we'll be the best prices out there anyway. All right.
All right. I had a couple questions here. Not about that.
Well, then let's do this.
All right. First off, why did you sell your trimmer for a mach-e? You got the rally. I mean,
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about Lightning. I got the Lightning.
yes.
You know, when it came out, Lariat, I wanted to drive the Lightning. I wanted to get one of those because I've always been into electrification. Lightning came out. I don't know why I didn't get into the Mach-E because mainly because it was a car probably at the time. I was like the truck. And the Lightning was just, it really was expensive.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good time to trade. Prices started to come down on the Lightning about that time. And I got into a Maverick was kind of it was right after a meetup. I don't know if you remember that. We had the Maverick meetup. We had some trimmers here, and I'm like, man, I really like those trimmers. You know, I like the look of them and everything. And we had a couple customers because back then it was like the only reason we had any vehicles in stock was because customers turned them down because no dealers had them. And so back then, we had a couple of those trimmers that came in that customers didn't take. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'll look at these. So D-plan on those. We figured out what my trade was, and I ended up coming out ahead. I had some equity, a little bit of equity there going into the Maverick, which lowered my payment, actually cut my payment in half from the Lightning.
Right.
So that was a big reason. Plus, I actually wanted to get in a Maverick and drive it since we had a lot of Maverick community and a lot of videos we were doing on the Maverick. So I wanted to drive one, experience on a daily basis. And so that was the big kicker. Of course, remember, all this time I still had the Bronco. And then I saw the Mach-E at the auto show, the rally, and I'm like, I like this. This is cool. And I, of course, again, still liking that electric vehicle. So I went ahead and ordered it, and knowing that I didn't know if I was going to take it when it came in or not. Sometimes we'll do that. I mean, we'll get vehicles in. I mean, you know, between myself and the general manager and some of us, we'll order vehicles and get them in so we can, first of all, for one, when you first order one, usually those are the first ones that show up at dealers.
Yes.
So like for one, I can do videos on them. And then if I decide not to take it, then it can go on the lot for sale for somebody.
And then we have one of the first.
Yeah. And then somebody can have one of the first, you know, that came out or whatever. Actually, I got a Bronco Sport Badlands with the Sasquatch package coming in under my name as well. I mean,
Yeah.
and actually one of the Strop Broncos that's scheduled this week was an order that I put in, and then somebody that we know locally, a friend of ours that wanted one, I'm like, hey, you can just have my order, because I put it in just to see what it's like to order and everything. And so that way he could get one of the first, we thought one of the first Strops, but it took forever to schedule. But so when it came in though, I still had no plans. I was going to stay in the Mach-E, but because of the equity we had and the deals on the Mach-Es, it lowered my payment even more. So
yeah,
I won't tell you what it is, but I should not be paying what I am on a Mach-E rally. Let's just say that it was pretty ridiculous. So, and then I had equity in them. I mean, I kept carrying equity down. So, but I'm stuck. I'm in this for 3 years because now the price of Mach-Es and all electric vehicles have just, they've gone down. So there's probably not a way for me to get out of this lease, just like Jeff found out on his lease.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be driving it for 3 years. But at 3 years, I can let Ford take the hit on it.
Yeah.
So I'm leasing that Mach-E, and in 3 years, you know, which it probably will be worth less than what the residual is, then I can just turn around and walk away. And yeah, I don't have a vehicle, but I also don't have any negative equity to worry about either. I can start fresh in a different vehicle and be good to go. So that's the story of my trade, my cycle.
All right.
Probably won't be trading for a while, other than maybe the Expedition. I usually like to trade that every 3 years for her. And we do have, I should look, actually, it's supposed to be built next week. The week of the 24th, that the Expedition trimmer is supposed to be built. All right.
All right. Commented on yesterday's video about my Job 2 MAV order not being scheduled. I checked in with dealer today. They said material availability is marked 202515. Will I have to wait until week 3 of April?
Okay. So All right. So all those, I mean, to be honest, I can look at it like a lot of vehicles. I think I put in there that I think this is the one, if I remember right, that their dealer said that it said NSP.
Mm-hmm.
Not selected for previewing is what it means, right? And there's usually it's because there's some constraint on that order. Well, okay, so I think he had said that his dealer said it was because it was a job 2. Well, here's the deal. They're all job 2. That's not the correct excuse. I know they're trying to find a reason why they haven't gotten your order scheduled. I think that they need to look at the dashboard on Webdo. What does it say for allocations for the Maverick? And then look and see how many orders you have. Because once they start previewing orders, like I'll look at mine. Like we had that happen with Bronco last week, for instance. We had 3 allocations for Bronco. I had 4 orders. Somebody's order is going to say NSP.
Yeah.
3 of them are going to say previewing. The one that said NSP was a manual because that's a constraint on the Bronco in a sense, because there are too many. But like, so your case too, I still feel like yours probably says NSP for one of 2 reasons. They might have allocations, but here's the real thing is they probably have more orders unscheduled than their allocations.
Yes.
So if they have 4 unscheduled orders and 3 allocations, somebody's order is going to say NSP.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be something that may not hit. Now, what I can't remember what they put in. If you want to let me know what you ordered, we can maybe be able to clue into what it could be. So I'd love to know your order, optional equipment, everything. Tell me everything about your order, and let's see if we can figure it out. I don't know how long ago they posted that. Some people leave, but hopefully they can answer that. But if you look at an NSP, sometimes they'll tell you all the reasons why it's not. Maybe it's listed as NSP, and usually one of them will say allocations.
Mm-hmm.
If they scroll over that and click on it on the NSP, it'll tell you all the different things. And that's only one of probably many things that's listed. And a lot of times, so I don't know what that 515, I don't know what those numbers. I think 2025 is one thing, but then the 15, I mean, 515 might be the price level. So anyway, but it being job 2 is not why it's not scheduling, because they're all job 2 at this point.
Right.
Every order is a job 2. There's no job 2 constraint happening.
So here, Lariat hybrid all-wheel drive, soft rolling tonneau.
There you go. Take that tonneau off.
There are several items on the list they showed and said. So if you have, we always suggest,
Okay,
if it's something that you can add on.
Put that comment up there so I can see. I'm a visual person. Sorry.
There are several items on the list they showed and said. So you added other options besides that, just those.
What other options do you have other than that is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. But we always suggest if it's optional that you can add it at your dealer or through an aftermarket company, do it.
My mind initially right now is going take off the tonneau cover.
Yes.
And I would have them do it tomorrow. I guarantee you. I mean, I won't guarantee you because they need allocations. So I don't know what their system looks like and their orders look like. But I would say start with taking off the soft tonneau cover. Can be ordered later. We did a video on how to install those. And you can install it yourself or have the dealership install it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would take the soft rolling tonneau cover off of your order. And
Mud flaps.
it's up to you. Yeah, if you have mud flaps, if you have anything that has to do with any DIOs, we talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video. Any DIOs, take them off, right? We talked about that. But I think mud flaps are actually done at the factory now for those. I mean, they're all different depending on the model, but I would take that soft tonneau cover off. There's most of everything on Lariat is standard, it seems like, but I would definitely take that off. Don't bed dividers. The bed extenders, you got any of that? Because you can't. They're not.
I get wanting to try. They're trying to have you order a few more things, and I get that, but at the same time, if it's hurting your chances of actually getting the vehicle there, you just want to take it off.
I talked to the brand manager today, and he was telling me about that. He was saying that there were a lot of dealers that.
Okay. So he said there are other options, just the Lariat features such as spray and liner, etc.
Yeah.
So the rolling tonneau cover.
I would take that off. I would. I mean, so here's the deal: is they can't. They're probably closed now, but if they take it off tomorrow they preview it first thing in the morning. So your order would probably say NSP.
Yeah.
But if you can take it off tomorrow, come Thursday, it will actually probably show and schedule. Now, again, as long
Depending
as they
on
have
allocations.
allocations, right, and the other orders. But Lariat is
But that would
actually
give you a good chance for the
Now-
next round of scheduling.
now here is another thing. We didn't list that this week though. All-wheel drive was a very limited exhaustive availability though.
Ooh.
So that could cause it this week. I mean, but I still think that tonneau cover might help. But here's the other kicker. If your dealer has allocations, Ford wants to fulfill your dealer's allocations.
Mhm.
They want to do it with a retail order first. That is going to be the biggest thing. So if they have any availability, like for your order, like we're a dealer that doesn't have any retail orders, right? So our allocations can be fulfilled by a stock order of something they know they can do. So what they're going to do is they're going to give like us, they would give your dealer the all-wheel drive that they have a few left slots, right? They'd be more likely to do that because you have a retail order and you need to fulfill your allocation. Whereas if we have no retail orders, they're more likely to give us something that's very easy to get scheduled, like an XL or XLT.
Yeah.
Non all-wheel drive, right? Or to be a hybrid, right? So they're more likely to give our dealership what they can schedule around their capacity, right? And they're more likely to give a retail order like yours to that.
Yeah.
But I would definitely take that tonneau cover off and see what happens. If it doesn't schedule, I would say it probably because they're pretty full on all-wheel drive orders.
Yep.
But
So we had a question here. I ordered a Platinum Plus the second day order banks opened in October. It's been scheduled twice, but once again delayed until the second week of April. Going to dealer tomorrow to get my deposit back. So I'm guessing it hasn't scheduled twice. It's scheduled and then has been moved.
yeah, it's not going to reschedule. Once it schedules, it gets a VIN number.
Yes. Once it has a VIN number, you're good to go.
Yeah, that is going to get built.
Yes.
Now, it did get moved back because Platinum Plus was a job 2. So that's probably why it's scheduled in the second week of April, is because it's a job 2 build because they didn't. Platinum Plus was a late availability.
Yeah.
And so those are a late April production startup.
So if my order has been scheduled, even though they have moved it twice, then the dealer should be able to see why it's being delayed.
Nah, actually, we don't. They don't let us know.
They don't tell us anything.
More, and I will tell you what's probably happened, and we've seen this happen more than once. Is they will delay starting job 2.
Yep.
So, like I said, Platinum Plus is a job 2 thing. So they probably have moved back job 2 production startup. So we see that happen sometimes from time to time, and they won't tell the dealers. Sometimes we'll get lucky and they'll tell us we're delaying the startup job. They did that last year, actually. Remember the Pro Access tailgate was new last year, and they did that. They said, okay, we can't. First off, they delayed job 2, and then they decided to just take the Pro Access tailgate off so they could start job 2 production, and then when it was ready, then they would reintroduce it.
Yeah,
I remember that
as a
happening.
job 3.
Yeah, so I remember that happening last year. So that's probably more than likely what's happening is that the job 2's got
you do
pushed
have
back.
a VIN number, which is great. That
means it will be built.
Yes, they will never schedule a vehicle and then get rid of it, or even at the end of the year, they will build it.
They'll build it, and if you decide you don't want it, you get your deposit back from your dealer. It'll get built because it cannot be stopped.
You are already a step ahead of some others. You're scheduled. You have a VIN. You're good to go.
I guarantee you there won't be a dealership get a Platinum Plus at their dealership before in mid-May, right?
Yeah.
Because yours is built mid-April. So that means coming in mid-May, late May, probably somewhere around there. That's probably the earliest you're going to see any Platinum Plus at any dealership. Either way, you're waiting.
Yeah. So you're a step ahead of others. You are scheduled with a VIN. I would keep it and wait.
Yep. And if you got scheduled, it must have just happened last week because they just started scheduling April dates last week, right?
Well, he's been pushed back.
Oh, that's right. So he would probably schedule originally in March. Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. What does it mean when it's in production? How long before it's built? In production is a very wide scope. So once the window sticker is sent to the factory, it's put into production. Window stickers get sent before.
I think right when they
when they get over there. And so that in production goes from then until they release it from the factory. And that includes going over building it, making sure that it goes through all the testing, making sure it has everything it needs before it gets released. Release happens right before it gets shipped.
I will say this: it does seem like the job twos are taking a bit. So here's you want a good answer to this. So Derek's Lobo,
Yeah.
it was built the week of February 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the 8th or something. It finally shipped out. Yes, what was it? Yesterday, I think, the 17th. So it took almost 10 days from once it was built to once it shipped out. So job twos are kind of like job ones, not as near as delayed like the 5 weeks that it was. But I can tell you most of the job twos are taking a little bit to make sure they're right before they go out. Because again, job twos is like a startup again for them because there are some changes, especially if it's a Lobo or it's a Lariat. Those are things that are new. And they're different. And so they're just checking those over, make sure that everything works. So I would say, when was his built? Or when did it go in production? I remember he commented on the video yesterday. I'm not sure when his went in, but I would still say, just give it a little bit of time. You just, it'll go out, it'll get shipped out, and you should get another email saying it's been shipped. But sometimes, like she said, it'll go in the in production status once it's sent to the plant, which is like almost, you'll maybe even say it's in production the week before it's supposed to be even built. So it actually almost tricks you a little bit thinking that it's being built a week early when it really isn't. It's just, it'll say in production once that basically the window sticker or the order is sent to the plant, so they can get your vehicle prepped and ready and get all parts together for the production line to just smoothly go through, right?
Yeah. Like the shells are at one location, parts are at others. So they basically are like, okay, today we need this many shells
of this color or
of
whatever.
this color with this options.
Yeah. So.
All right, just ordered a 25 F-150 STX 5.0 4x4 tow haul mirrors with black appearance. Dealers said they had an allocation and used priority code 10. Any idea when it might get scheduled?
Well, don't know. Maybe this week?
But scheduling happens on Thursdays.
On Thursdays, yeah.
So you'll know on Thursday. So anytime.
Either you get an email or you won't. Well,
Yeah.
and you're in a good situation because we do know that STX with the 5.0 can only be a retail schedule, but a retail order. But I will say this: the 5.0 is on here listed as a very limited exhausted availability item. That might be one of the things that's gonna hurt you. You might want to do make sure. I noticed you said you had tow haul on there. Make sure your dealer ordered that max trailer, that max tow haul axle. Make sure you put that on your order, because that could help too. Because it's not listed this week, but in a lot of weeks it'll actually say that if you have the tow haul package, make sure you have the tow haul axle, the max tow haul axle, and I think it's the 373 on that one. But make sure they have that. It's I think it's XL7 or XL. Man, I wish I had last week's in here. It was actually listed last week. But make sure they have the max tow haul axle included on your order, because that'll help it get scheduled. So you definitely don't want the tow haul without that. So make sure that's put on the order. So I talked to them tomorrow about that. But priority code 10 is good. But I think that 5.0 might actually hurt it from getting scheduled this week. But only time it's hard to tell.
Maverick Lariat build date just got moved up by 2 weeks. So it got moved up.
Okay.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, we see that.
So that means somebody's got moved back. You took their spot.
All right. Why do you think Ford put a smaller battery in the 25 Lightning Flash?
I don't know. That is to see them go kind of backwards. Here's the thing that I think is really weird is that the same price as last year, they made the battery smaller in the Flash. They took away the wireless charging pad, the keypad, the spare tire. I feel like there's something else. They took away a lot of things and kept the price the same. Like, hey, we're still keeping the same price. Well, not really. When you figure out all the different things you took off the vehicle, that some can be added, but some can't. you really gave us a price increase of about $1,000 when you think about it. I mean, you got $150 spare tire now. Keypad is like $225. Right now, you're almost up to $500. I can't get the wireless charging pad. The battery's now smaller, so my range is 20 less. I've told people that we're looking at that. I'm like, you want to get a 24 now? Because now I would do that. Save yourself, what is it, $4,000 getting a 24 that has the bigger battery with the better range and still has the keypad on there and still has a spare tire and all that stuff. So it's almost just like driving people to get the 24s that are out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little unusual on what they did there. I really don't know if it's to save costs or what it is. You got to figure, because it's a smaller battery, it's cheaper. So that way they can keep the price the same. Anyway.
Thanks for an answer on the in production. Should have included that it was F450 Lariat. Does the last 5 digits mean anything? 37060.
That's just, and that's not necessarily the sequence of when it gets built. That's when, because you got the VIN number when it got scheduled, and that's just basically that's the last. That's a 37,060th vehicle. Well, if there's a letter right before that, it could be A, B, C. A's is the first 100,000 that's being built, right? A0001 would be the very first one built, and not necessarily built, but the first one that got a VIN number, basically. So if it's a B, then you're in the second 100,000 that's being built for the 25 model year. Probably more than likely it's an A, but so that's not necessarily that's the order it's being built. A lot of people think that's happening, and they don't build them in sequence. They give them VIN numbers in sequence.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to get built with that number. So.
Yep. All right. Patricia was wondering if we had gotten to the recall yet.
Oh yeah.
We went over that.
We covered it earlier. We just don't know. They mentioned a BCM update, software update that's going to be announced this week, but we don't know if that's for the camera or for the battery at this point. So we'll leave that. We'll find out. I think it's for the camera because it says it's for 22 to 24, and we know that the battery is for 23 model year and not includes the 24 model year. That makes me think that that's going to be for the camera. Anyway.
Yeah.
There you go. Hopefully she's still in here. I'm not actually.
Yeah, so our temperature is currently at 0 with a negative 20 wind chill.
All right. Yeah, we get a lot of straight line winds because in Kansas, especially in western Kansas. You start getting a little bit east of here. We start getting some hills.
Yeah,
the Flint Hills and such.
In fact, we're in a little divot valley. Salina is.
It kind of starts staying flat, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because we have
east of us
the hill with the river.
Yeah.
And so we're in a little divot valley right after that, and then it gets flatter out west. In fact, they have I always see it when we go out to western Kansas. What are they called? Like railroad crossing. They have lights and everything that shut down the highway so you can't go past.
Yeah, it's because of the winds, and the snow and everything.
Yeah.
They will have times where they shut off the highway and they pull down that so you can't get on the on-ramps.
Yeah.
And they'll like shut those down, and then you can't shut the highways down technically.
They can. They have like they have warning signs, and then at a certain point they do have rails.
Do they? Okay. I can't remember.
Yeah. So they will actually shut down our highway and force you to exit. So yeah, they do that for the straight winds because it can get pretty crazy. It'll blow over semis just coming across there. And then, the wind whips that snow around and whatnot. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I was
All right.
saying that we get, 110 plus degree weather, and then we get, negative 20 wind chills.
Yep. All right. Well, anything else? Any other questions?
No.
So we just lowered the price in that Badlands Bronco again. He's trying to, even today, tried tempting me. I'm like,
Richard says it's 70 there.
so the rebates went, I think the rebates were like 3,000 on the Bronco Badlands. Now they're 5,000. What? No, don't think so. Can't be. Crazy. Wish I had a Jeep right about now. Just to trade it in on a Bronco Badlands.
Yeah.
The price on that is almost as cheap as what I paid on that back 3 years ago. That's crazy. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, Ford Enthusiast was asking about it. Come buy one. Come take it off our hands.
Yeah, we have a of course it does include financing with us and 2,000 of Jeep Conquest, so you got to add $3,000 back on, but that's still $10,000 off.
I don't have a Jeep.
I mean, that's still $10,000 off on a Badlands edition. So 62 down to 52. Hey, with my D plan, I get it under 60 or under 50. Yeah, I don't like black and I don't like white on my vehicles, so not gonna happen. Dealer trade. What color are out there?
Boondoggy. We shut down freeways weekly in California, but for police chases.
Weren't they getting mudslides?
I think so.
All right.
That's what happens. You have the fires that take out a lot of the forestry and the roots and whatnot, and then the rain comes in and makes the soil all soft, and then you get the mudslides.
All right. So Stuart did say in here, any more issues with the Max? Because I mentioned that earlier. They're just, I mean, I just don't think that if you're getting the Max tow or the tow haul package that you need to add that Max tow axle. And they are, last week it was listed on the scheduling notes that you should make sure you add that to help it get scheduled. I would probably just stick to that in general for right now, just to make sure. But I think it actually helps too, getting that, because if you have the tow haul package, you want that electronic locker and you want that gear ratio that would correspond with that, just for pulling power, right? So when you take off, that's going to help. That axle is going to help it.
All right.
They said it's downright chilly in Florida at 70.
Compared to what we had. Compared to what we had when we were there.
Downright chilly. I'll tell you what, chilly. Go from 80 degrees and then come home to 20. Like that was like
we've stepped out of the airport. I'm just like, I can feel how dry it is here. It does not feel good.
Well, and then like I didn't take a coat because I knew we were going to Florida. So we had sweatshirts. And that was about all we had. And I was like, glad we parked in the big parking lot and not have to go to the surface lot.
Yeah.
Walk clear through. What's the best? Oh, here. I'll tell you my opinion. It says, what's the best deal, meaning bang for the buck on a Bronco? So right now, if you're finding one on a dealer lot, I seriously think the Badlands edition with all the rebates, and if a dealer uses the Built for Growth cash like we are, a Badlands edition is, I mean, you're talking, for one, they get an extra $2,500 rebate for Badlands. Plus there's $3,000 built for growth cash that as long as the dealer hits their number, the dealer gets that. Well, we're giving that to our customers. So when you figure all that in, that's $8,000. Well, that's your Badlands equipment basically, and what the cost is of that stuff. I mean, when you look, we have a just a good case point. Actually, the Bronco Badlands we have are Sasquatches, aren't they? I think they're Badlands with Sasquatch. So in comparable, there's a black diamond we have that's $59,000. So it's only $3,000 more for those than the black diamonds we have, and you get a sway bar disconnect and well, I guess you get the front locker, but you get that capability. I don't know. Yeah. So think if I could find a Badlands non-Sasquatch, because I get the front and rear locker, sway bar disconnect, put our own lift on it for $2,500.
Yeah.
A rough country. Your mom's just, I saw her on there in the chat. She's probably like, don't think about it. I've just done so much to ours.
Do it.
Don't we want 2 Broncos? Oh, it's too bad that I'd trade the mach-e and heartbeat for another Bronco. Sorry, love the mach-e, but it is kind of nice to get into a quiet mach-e. That's the interior warms up like super quick, and then like a lot of times I'll take that to go pick up, Emily at night.
Yeah,
it's just kind of nice.
Says, nope.
Yeah.
Hey, he's saying he'll give up his mach-e.
I can't. Middle lease. That's why you don't lease. But I'd be in a lot worse shape if I hadn't leased the mach-e and I'd purchased. I'd easily be upside down right now.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah, I'm sure I'm upside down on the mach-e at this point because I've only been paying lease payments, and I can tell you it hasn't been very much. Anyway, all right. We got any other questions?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, no reason for us to stick on here.
Mm.
All right. Check out Sarah's podcast this week with Allie from All Terrain Nation, and also Bronco Driver Magazine media, or social media person there. And of course, all things Bronco with her, right? So,
yeah.
And yeah, so definitely was a pretty good. It was a good interview. So check that out. It was fun to listen to and talk about. I like hearing the stories.
Well, that was the longest interview yet.
Oh,
and then 49 minutes.
It went fast. It didn't seem that long.
No, it didn't. And then we continued talking for another 10 minutes after that. She's like, I have to go. I have a hair appointment. Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one. So if you didn't check it out, isn't that episode 4?
Yes.
So check it out.
Which I had mislabeled as episode 3. Thank you, Anthony, for messaging me and telling me.
I every time we do this live stream, I'm like, what number is this? What number is this?
Well, I knew
right as we're going live, and I'm like, welcome to episode.
I knew which episode it was, but when I went to go I reused my information and I forgot to change it from a 3 to a 4.
Yeah. So. Anyway, so yeah,
my Spotify was correct.
Mine, like Podbean, will actually give me the episode number at the bottom under the details on there, or the Podbean. Sorry, that's what I use. So, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks everybody for joining us. We're gonna do hopefully tomorrow Built Wild Wednesday video. I was gonna talk about some of the still haven't heard anything on the recall for the rear shocks on those Badlands. But that would be something. If I did a dealer trade, I need to make sure that. Oh wait, I'm not doing one. What am I talking about? But yeah, if you are though, somebody was asking about that on a Badlands. If you are looking at a Badlands, make sure, or a Sasquatch Bronco, make sure you look and see what the production date is on that vehicle. Make sure it's after like August or later build date, because I think late July was what the recall went to. So that's something you want to look at too. Make sure, I mean, the dealer shouldn't sell it to you if it's under recall, but there's a tendency where dealers will do is they'll still keep it on their website and then they'll sell it to you. And then they'll go to report it and realize, oh, we can't. Oh, sorry, that has to stay here. But we don't know when that recall is going to be ready. Right. So, so I would, Badlands Edition or any Sasquatch, make sure it's built, August or later. I think the date's sometime in July. But make sure it's later than that and, in the year. So anyway, that's something to note of there. But yeah, other than that, I thought about doing things that you should, some things you should have in your Bronco if you plan to go off-roading, that kind of thing. Some recovery stuff, but also some other, other things. So we'll talk about that in there, and I'll probably do that out of the back of the Bronco. Probably do it in the picture building since it's cold. So I have to do that video in the morning before we start picturing. So we'll try to do that and do that video of some of the things that I do. I noticed Shelby Hall did something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And I know hers is all like for performance and that kind of stuff. And so I'll just go, hey, and I'll provide, links and everything and all that stuff. But that might be kind of fun. So hopefully people will enjoy that. And
I hope to have Kelly on for my next interview. We keep having scheduling conflicts.
I know you got a couple people that you're working
Jill
on.
is scheduled and Shelby is scheduled.
That'll be a fun one. Shelby Hall.
Yep.
So
yeah, if we can just get Kelly and I nailed down with a date.
Yep. That'll be good. So, all right. And you still have Kathy too that you could interview.
Yes, and we're working on dates.
So got some good ones coming up, and we've had some good ones so far. So that's real good. So definitely listen or watch the one with Allie. That was really good. And
we had fun.
It's two people that are used to being in front of a camera, in front of a microphone. So that's good. So, all right. Well, I think that's all we have for tonight. So hopefully you guys had a great night. Other than that, I think we're ready to rock and roll. This is episode 181.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you have nothing else, stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourself.
We'll see you guys later.